This week's Four Questions Journalist Spotlight is brought to you by Leff's Atlanta Media, Atlanta's best journalist database. Subscribe at leffsatlantamedia.com.
Welcome to another edition of our Four Questions Journalist Spotlight. We are talking today with Jerry Carnes with 11 Alive, WXIA TV in Atlanta. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning. How are you, Mitch?
Good. It's a lovely, fairly sunny afternoon or morning. Is it morning? I don't know what time it is.
It is morning.
It's
morning and day, afternoon all run together for
it does. And people watch these any time of day, so it's afternoon wherever you are, right? What's that? It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Right.
Well, I want to talk to you about kind of your role at Channel 11, and I know you've got kind of something new that you're doing, but let's talk first about kind of your journalism background. What brought you to Channel 11 and where you are now?
So I went to the University of Georgia out of Gainesville, Florida, believe it or not. I grew up a Gator fan, so going to the University of Georgia was something a little bit different. But my mom and dad are from a town sort of kind of near Athens, Eatonton, Georgia. And when I graduated from high school, I thought about possibly kind of stretching out and going someplace different. So I attended the University of Georgia, kind of stumbled into journalism school. I was initially majoring in political science and didn't really know what I was going to do with that. So I realized I'm going to have to find a career somewhere, and just started thinking about it and how much I enjoy storytelling. I just really enjoy that, be it the spoken word or written word. So I decided to give journalism a try. Graduated in 1982, worked at WRBL TV in Columbus for a couple of years, then moved to WAAY TV in Huntsville, Alabama, spent about a year there, then was hired at WSPA TV, which was a really interesting market to work in because it's a hyphenated market. We call it as Greenville, Asheville, Spartanburg. I worked for the Spartanburg station, but in the Greenville bureau. So I got married, started the job there. Working in a bureau really puts a lot on you to, you really have to be self-sufficient when you're working in a bureau. You don't have the news director or the assignment desk hovering right over you. You really have to come up with your own stories. I grew a lot during those 3.5 years I was there, and then was hired initially at WXIA to work in this bureau. They knew I had experience working in a bureau, and I'd gone to the University of Georgia. So I worked in Athens 5 years. And then my career has just kind of progressed from there. Spent 5 years in the bureau, They moved me to Atlanta in 1994, where I worked as general assignment for most of my career. I did spend, I think, a couple of years in an investigative unit. Then in 2013, I asked to kind of focus on something different other than general assignment. They moved me to focusing on traffic, which was I was the commuter dude. So I've been a dude, and then I moved to white guy. And it's both of those franchises kind of ran their course, I guess you'd say. And then I am working now focusing more on, we have a franchise called Verify, where we take popular viral claims and check them out and either verify or debunk those claims. And in addition to that, I'm also turning other stories that are unique for the morning show. I've been focusing since 2013 on the morning show and try to turn unique stories specifically for our morning show. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, the progress of my career.
So Verify is kind of syndicated across your sister stations, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's a creation, I think, of Tegna. And so we share all those stories, and I'll be focusing specifically or mostly on local verifies.
So more Metro Atlanta verifies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or state of Georgia or regional, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I've noticed that a couple of your different colleagues work on that, and sometimes something will show up on a verifier where I think, oh, okay, that's nice, because it pops up on 5 or 6 stations in different markets, which is always good.
Yeah, my wife and I were on vacation out in Oregon, and we were in Portland, And I totally forgotten that there was and when you're a news guy, you turn the TV on and you watch the local news. And I turned it on the Tegna station and I looked at my wife and I said, stories pops up here. While I'm on vacation, I'm leaving the room. I don't want to see myself. I don't want to see myself on TV in Portland, Oregon, while I'm on vacation. But it's always a possibility.
And did it pop up?
Well, funny thing is, Julie Wolf, who used to be a reporter with us, is now the news director in Seattle, Washington. So she was one state north of us. And as I'm saying that to my wife, she texts me a picture of me on her television screen in Seattle, doing one of my stories that they were airing there. So I thought, well, if we'd been in Seattle, I would have seen myself on television.
Well, it's funny. You realize when you travel that the sister stations use, the graphics are the same, and a lot of the promos are either the same or tailored a little bit. I was in St. Augustine last week, and I saw a couple of things like, okay, that looks just like Channel 2. That one looks like Channel 11.
Yep.
We were watching more weather last week than we usually watch on vacation.
You and everybody else.
Yeah. Well, we were in Florida, so it was warmer, but it was still kind of chill in the air as we got to the end of the week. So not quite the warm Florida vacation that
exactly
that we usually do. All right, so let's see. So shift wise, are you working kind of a more 9 to 5 ish?
Oh, no. That all changed in 2013. And in fact, I've been on vacation the last week, and you really never adjust to normal life. I'm still waking up at 3 a.m. and thinking that I need to get up. I usually get up at 1 a.m. to go to work, and so sleeping till 3. But I've slowly over the past week, I've convinced my brain you can go back to sleep. It's okay. And I might sleep till 5 or 6. But come Monday morning, it's right back to the getting up at 1 a.m. And we'll see the shock that it's always going back and forth. Weekends are a challenge. You're up early on Saturday morning, and then a little bit later on Sunday, and then you have to pop back into the routine. And it's a little jarring.
I guess the question is, how's your wife adjusting to that?
She, at nighttime it is a little different from her because she, likes to have some time in the night. But, it's been 9 years now, so she's adjusted. She finds other things to do. And then we spend the afternoons together. I usually get off around noon, and we'll go for a long walk together and do things together in the afternoon. It's definitely, the whole family has to adjust.
Yeah. I've heard from a lot of my friends who work those kind of shifts at TV stations and radio stations. It is hard going back and forth from weekends to weekdays and whatnot. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for in terms of stories coming up? I know that the verifies tend to be kind of, hey, this is popping up, but those verifies, I'm always on the lookout for them, and a lot of times they come from viewers. Will send suggestions, like, hey, I'm trying to do this. In fact, I got one just recently. I put it together. It's not going to air till next week when I'm back at work, but a woman closing on her house, and she said, is it better for me to use a cashier's check, or, usually you wire money when you close on a house, but with all this cyber crimes and all that, and so I reached out to some of our folks who are experts in cybersecurity and asked about that. So I'm going to air that next week. So there are questions that come from the public, and then sometimes I just, I'm constantly reading, and I have my own questions. Is that true? Is this? In fact, there was a study that came out that said exercise helps make vaccines better, and I talked to a couple of folks about that, and it turns out it's just that exercise is good for your body, and the vaccine help. They all help fight the. So the exercise doesn't have a direct impact on the vaccine. It's just, helps your body prepare to fight disease a little bit better. So those are always interesting. And I'm also really looking for stories. Now that I'm in this phase of my career, I understand more and more that journalists need to be really servants to our viewers and help people. The world we live in right now, there's people always looking for help with money, saving money, fighting inflation. And of course, health now has become a big thing. So I want to focus a lot on that, plus occasionally do the upbeat story. I got a chance right before
I went on vacation to do a story about a UPS employee who's retiring after, I think, 38 years. And he stayed with the company strictly because of someone who mentored him, took the time to go over and spend some time with him and show him that he cared. And then he has been doing that over the years for other employees, trying to be, kind of a living inspiration. I love doing those stories too, because the news, let's face it, needs some upbeat stuff every now and then. It needs to be something more than pandemic and politics.
Yeah. There's definitely that. Although I've seen enough experiments with good news that turns out people don't really want to watch half an hour of just good news, right?
Right. No, I think a half an hour of it is a little much, because as much as people don't want to hear over and over again about the pandemic, if you do a story about it, their attention will turn to it. So we can't abandon that. But I think every now and then, just to give people a taste of, the world's not all that bad out there. There's some good stuff going on.
Yeah. I mean, there's good people out there. There's people helping other people. There's positive things that are happening. Not everybody is, sick or dying or living in poverty or whatnot.
Or trying to take advantage of you.
Or trying to take it. Yeah. But I see people. I mean, I appreciate the some of the basic stuff sometimes, because I still see people who like, hey, I clicked on this link that said I was gonna, get this money, and
I know. Yeah.
It's like, really, after all these years of getting the emails from the Nigerian princes, you still don't know not to click on that one. All right. So the more challenging question here, Jerry, is what is something cool or fun about you that people might not know?
Being on television for 40 years, there's probably not a lot people don't know about me. I'm kind of, I tend to kind of open up and especially with social media, Facebook it is an opportunity to just kind of, this is what I'm all about. So I don't know. I think maybe one of the things people might not know about me is that I am an avid hiker, and I love to hike the Appalachian Trail. And I went on a 50-mile hike. It was supposed to be a 100-mile hike, but it ended up being a 50-mile hike. There's a big story behind that I've been trying to write about. I'm also an avid writer, because I don't know, that I love that way. I love to read, and I like to write about things too. And I've had a couple of blogs over the years that where I've expressed things about my experiences with prostate cancer. I'm a survivor of prostate cancer, so I love to hike. I love to read. I love to write. So those are maybe things people know about. One little tidbit maybe that folks don't know about. I love to brag on my father. He was an Olympic coach, and coached in both the 1976 and was named head coach of the 1980 Olympic Games. So I got to attend the 1972 Olympics in Munich and the 1976 Olympics in Montreal. Yeah, and I would have gone to the 80 Olympics in Moscow, but we had a little problem
boycott
with some things that were going on with Russia, and the U.S. didn't attend those Olympic Games. But it was great. My father ran a track club in Gainesville, Florida, where I was growing up, and I got to meet and even train with some of the greatest track athletes. Frank Shorter, who won the Olympic gold medal in the marathon. A guy named Marty LaCour. If people are avid runners, they know his name. He and I trained together a lot. He was one of the best milers in the world in his day. So that's maybe something people don't know.
And do you follow college football at all? Is there anything?
A little bit, just a tad.
Anything interesting there?
Just a bit. I even when I was a college student at the University of Georgia, went to New Orleans to watch Georgia beat Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl and win the national championship on January 1st, 1981. And then 41 years later, I was in Indianapolis when Georgia won again. Took a little bit longer than we wanted to win a national championship, but maybe not so long this time around. Maybe the wait's only a couple of days now.
That's all right. All right. So this one's a toss-up, either last book you've read or the last podcast you listened to.
Last is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So I'm on a site called Goodreads, where you set a goal for how many books you're going to read per year. And my goal this year was 50 books. I'm at 49 and a half. I'm actually in the process of reading number 50 right now. But Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In order to get a lot of books, I have a Kindle, and I'll go to Amazon, and Kindle has a place where you can buy some books for $1.
Right.
And Dr.
Right.
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was on there for like $1.50. I'll read that book.
Yeah. I'm working my way through the. I downloaded the Agatha Christie collection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are really good.
I read. Which one of those did I read? The one on the train.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Murder on the Orient Express. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. I read that one. I have all kinds of lists of I need to read, and so I'm
right.
going through.
All right. Favorite local restaurant?
That one's tough. My wife and I don't go out that much. We because of my schedule, we eat mostly at home. And I had to put a lot of thought into that, but I would have to say the Vortex is my favorite local restaurant because I love the variety of hamburgers that they have. It's a very interesting place.
Yeah.
And the hamburgers are just they're very good, and the variety. I love the idea that they have a Elvis Presley hamburger with peanut butter and banana on it. I haven't tried that one yet. I have not tried that one. I haven't tried that one either. I've tried the one with pimento cheese on it, and then I really like the blue cheese and mushroom.
Yeah,
but one of these days I'm going to be brave enough to try I think it's the triple bypass, which is just sounds like a heart attack waiting to happen. The one with grilled cheese sandwiches for the buns.
Yeah, I always look at that one and go, that sounds really good, but I go with the mushroom one. I'm a mushroom fan. All right, favorite guilty pleasure.
Oh, I mean, college football, no doubt about it. I think I've watched a bit of every single bowl game played this year. And I know a lot of people say there are too many bowl games. I want more. I wish that there were 100 bowl games. I devour college football during the season, and, big Georgia Bulldog fan. So I'm especially emotional about those games.
All right. Favorite local getaway. And this could be Atlanta or anywhere in the state.
The mountains, North Georgia mountains. I love to go to Blue Ridge. I love Dahlonega. The Appalachian Trail is just above Dahlonega, and I love to take day hikes on the AT or any other hikes. My wife and I went to Yonah Mountain. One of our COVID vacations was up. We stayed near Helen, and we would go to Yonah Mountain in different places around there to go on hikes. So North Georgia mountains that's my place. And
favorite non-work hobby.
Probably already rattled them all off.
Okay.
It would be hiking and reading, the two of them together. If I could hike and read at the same time without tripping and falling over, I would probably do that.
Can you do audiobooks? Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's true. That's but when I'm hiking, I like to be free of distraction. So now if I'm just taking a walk around the neighborhood, I will do an audiobook.
Yeah. When I'm hiking, I don't like to listen to music. I just the nature part is what I like to hike. So I don't like to track it up with music or other noise. Plus, I like to kind of hear what's going on around me. Just in case.
Exactly.
You never know.
Same.
All right. Is there anything else about Channel 11 that we haven't talked about that would be interesting for folks to know? I know you guys have added some new reporters, new anchors lately. Anything else new and different that we should mention?
It's sort of a shame, but working the morning shift, and I've got to know, working the morning shift, you're so different. I mean, you're up at such weird hours, and so you get to be a team there. You get, you have, I don't know, you really bond when you're on that shift, and so most of my best friends from work are there on that morning shift. The shame is that I don't know anyone now. I mean, I know a few people working on the night shift, and most of them are folks who have transitioned from morning to day to night. Jennifer Bellamy and I are very close friends, and we haven't seen each other across paths in the newsroom, and I don't know how long, but we stay in touch with each other, both big Bulldog fans and big Falcons fans. So we celebrate together and moan and groan together over the Falcons. But unfortunately, I don't know a lot of the new people, and it's very interesting. It started with COVID, where you lost touch with people.
Right.
Even though I'm back in the newsroom, I'm still not in touch. I still don't know a lot of our new folks.
Well, it's funny. During COVID, I found that I knew a lot of reporters at stations where the other reporters hadn't even met them yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I've been talking to so and so and zooming with so and so, and like, who's that? I haven't met them.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I'll get a Mike at your station has emailed us already. I'm like, that's great. Who's Mike?
Yeah.
I don't know. Have a Mike. So it's been a very different period of time to work in this business and just exist in general.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, Jerry, we appreciate your time. We've been talking
Absolutely.
with Jerry Carnes with 11 Alive, WXIA TV in Atlanta. And tune in next week or the week after for another edition of our 4 Questions Journalist Spotlight. And as always, if you're looking for our database of Atlanta journalists, go to Mitch's. No, wait, that's not right. Go to leffsatlantamamedia.com. But if you're a journalist looking for sources, go to mitch'smediamatch.com or just give me a call, as most people do, and we'll figure it out from there. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. Take care, Mitch.